He found a secret underground tunnel in his new apartment, and it led to a creepy secret. When Daniel Carley first saw a new apartment listed online, he snapped it up as soon as he could. Daniel didn't even bother to view the property, as he was sure that for the price, the place would go quickly. It turns out that he might have been a bit too hasty. After all, there's a good reason why apartments go cheap. Because sometimes, you're better off leaving the things that hide below your living space alone. Immediately after moving his stuff in, Carley began discovering strange things about the property. The building was at least a century old, and had very high ceilings and some very unusual architecture. There were mirrors everywhere throughout the apartment, floor to ceiling, making the place constantly look like it's full of other people, even when Carley was alone. Partway up the wall in the kitchen, there was a hole. This doesn't seem to exist for any logical reason, but it does give us a clue as to the building's secrets. It turns out that there are plenty more hidden surprises in this place. What initially looks just like part of the floor reveals something far more disturbing. Just outside the bathroom was a hatch that wasn't included in the listing for the apartment online. What could be hiding down here? Taking a closer look, it's clear that this hatch must be in regular use. There's a latch on it so that someone can open and close it, and it stands out from the floor so that it's easy to lift up or push up from underneath. At first, Carley simply thought that this was some storage space. There was assorted junk down there that must have belonged to a previous tenant. But then, Carley noticed something chilling. There are steps in this space. Hidden in the darkness was some kind of underground tunnel that leads below the apartment. Fully prepared with a flashlight, Carley began making his way down the steps. Everything was pitch black, and he assumed this space couldn't be that big. Well, he was wrong. The tunnel led all the way under the building, snaking and twisting through several rooms. It seemed that this dungeon led all the way under the other apartments in the building. Graffiti on a wall made it clear that people had been down here recently, or at least as recent as the invention of spray paint. Exploring further, Carley found himself directly underneath many of his neighbors' apartments. Do they have access to the dungeon as well? And if so, how safe is it for Carley to sleep in his apartment without something heavy blocking the entrance to this entire underground maze? The floors throughout the building aren't exactly soundproof. Down there, Carley could hear his neighbors in conversation with each other while spying underneath their floorboards. So has anyone been doing the same thing to him since he moved in? Finally, Carley managed to find a date relating to when someone was previously in the tunnel. An old newspaper, dated April 10, 1984, made it clear that someone was down there 30 years ago. Although, of course, this doesn't prove that someone else hadn't been there more recently. For now, Carley simply has to hope that nobody else has a hidden door within the dungeon that can let them in and out.